52-3, 49 points, 28-point spread. The Buckeyes are on quite a run in even surpassing the expectations of Vegas. It just continues week to week, Tony.
It's impressive, and every week you look at the schedule and you're like, well, this will be a good test. You know, Northwestern being one of the best defenses in the Big Ten. We'll see how they do. And they score 52 points. And again, they have a huge second quarter. Same thing with the Michigan State game. And yeah, at some point, these stop becoming the next test, and they just continue to be further proof that this is a pretty good Ohio State team. And, you know, there's little reason to think that the Wisconsin game won't be the same. It's Ohio State, who is extremely talented and playing well and executing and has depth and has excellent coaching against, you know, everybody else. And at this point, you could probably take Ohio State against anybody in the nation and feel pretty good that you're not going to be outclassed on the field or on the sidelines.
So unless we need to take a slice of the Northwestern game, Kevin, we can completely discard it. But if you guys think there's something valuable to review, we can certainly set our sights on Wisconsin. Was there anything from Northwestern that tells us anything more about this football team that we didn't already know, but just confirm the talent at every level on both sides of the ball?
I just wanted to kind of double back to something that Tony had said, too, that you get these – I know, I'm shocked as well, that – You sit there and you have these tests, and then you pass them by too big of a margin, and then everybody's like, well, it really wasn't a test because that team was no good. So, you know, this Wisconsin game's supposed to be a test, but look out, Buckeyes. If you somehow win it by 28 or more, everybody's just going to talk about, well, we already saw when Wisconsin lost Illinois and struggled with Northwestern, a team that Ohio State just eviscerated, that, you know, it really wasn't that much of a test to begin with. And I mean, that's just kind of been wash, rinse, repeat all season long. They get this test, they just lay waste to this team, and then lo and behold, nobody really, you know, that wasn't a test.
Yeah, they're making their opponents look bad and therefore making themselves not look as good somehow by doing so.
I made a statement a couple minutes ago mentioning the best writers in the industry, and that's been amped up about 10 times when Steve Hellwagon gets on the line. Steve, we appreciate you dropping by. That's right. Good to see you.
Great to be here. Great to be in such great company. And after all these weeks of one blowout win after another, we're going to have real live smash 'em up football at Ohio Stadium this Saturday at 12 noon Eastern time. Can anybody wait?
We will have smash 'em up football. Wisconsin guarantees that. Will it be competitive? Truly, truly competitive for close to 60 minutes.
I think so. I mean, I don't know. Wisconsin, their whole season kind of hangs in the balance because Minnesota remains undefeated in the Big Ten and overall. And if they lose this game and Minnesota beats Maryland, they'll be down with 4 games to play with a 2-game deficit. And certainly when you think about it,
You're with us, Steve.
We got you.
Okay.
You're good.
Yeah, my speaker was going nuts. But be down to a 2-game deficit with 4 to play, and even if they beat them head-to-head, they're still down a game and would need somebody else to beat Minnesota, which, you know, they play Penn State, so that could happen there. But they have to have a renewed sense of urgency, I feel, for this game. Wisconsin does. They were embarrassed, in my opinion, to lose to an Illinois team that's been down for the better part of a decade. And the way that they did, they had, I believe it was a 6-point lead early in the fourth quarter, 1st and goal. The ball was at the 5, and they don't push it in. And that's their MO, is they bully you, they knock you around, they knock that ball into the end zone, and now it's 12, and they can decide if they want to go for 2 or if they want to just kick the extra point. And then you turn it over 2 more times after that, you've opened the door for Wisconsin or for Illinois to steal the game, and that's precisely what happened. And so Wisconsin's got to be kind of questioning, you know, what's our MO, what's our make here going into this.
You know, I thought it was interesting talking to the players today after practice, and they reflected on their own losses the last couple of years and how much more focused they were after that, going into practice that week and into the next game. So they realize what Wisconsin will be doing, and they're expecting Wisconsin's best efforts. And I asked KJ Hill, like, did you have the coaches talk to you about this, that you're going to get the best version of Wisconsin? And he's like, no, they don't need to, because after we lost to Iowa, after you lose to Purdue, you go back and you tighten up all the loose strings. You fix and you do everything. You try to do everything the right way. What you weren't doing well enough, you fix that. And so they are all expecting just this, maybe the version of Wisconsin that played against Michigan, or the absolute best version of Wisconsin that is possible this weekend, because they also know a win on Saturday erases that loss. You know, they're back into the college football playoff picture, and they control their own destiny once again. And so they realize, you know, this isn't going to be some wounded. I mean, it is a wounded team, and that's what makes them dangerous. It's not going to be a weakened team.
Yeah, no question about that. I heard it commented this week, and I will not note the particular commenter because I like to keep my job, but you can guess the network, where it was actually stated that that this loss doesn't hurt Wisconsin. Now, come on, this loss doesn't hurt Wisconsin. First of all, they lost to Illinois. They lost to one of the 3 or 4 worst teams in the Big Ten. But more than anything, just look at the metrics and the logistics of the schedule and how it plays out. Wisconsin was looking at a situation in which they were going to be favored in the rest of their games, except Ohio State. They were going to isolate most of the rest of their games to the Big Ten Western Division, where they look like the complete, to take Kevin's term, I believe, bullies, that they were just going to own the Big Ten West. And they were looking at, if we split with Ohio State, especially if we lose in Columbus, then come back and win the rematch in the Big Ten championship game, that's our ticket. That's going to show us enough to the College Football Playoff Selection Committee that we're worthy. Now they got to sweep, whether it's Ohio State, or Ohio State, Penn State. They've got to sweep on through, unless there's just complete chaos that's unforeseen. Yes, they have boxed themselves into a corner with this loss.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, they have very little margin for error in terms of the big picture. I mean, the path to the Big Ten West, I mean, is not as difficult, but I don't know if Wisconsin, who's been to the Big Ten championship game plenty of times, they've won a couple of them. That's not enough. This was supposed to be a special season, but everybody has looked and, you know, kind of writes off Wisconsin. Well, they're going to stumble along the way, and, you know, they stumbled in a major way, and it wasn't like, you know, they really kind of just gave it up, as Steve had mentioned, where they weren't able to push it in with about 6 minutes to go. A couple of bad turnovers. I mean, one of the biggest things that everybody was saying about Jack Cohn was, well, he just doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and then he throws that bad interception that, you know, allows Illinois to drive a little bit and be able to kick the game-winning field goal. But yeah, they're certainly not in a great position right now, and I guess I'm never one to really buy so much into, well, we're an angry team because we lost last week. You know, if you need that to really amp yourself up, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I think that they're a flawed team. They're a damaged team. We kind of know, you know, some issues that they may have. Will they replicate this week? I mean, only time will tell. But I mean, I think I've been saying to anybody who would listen for the last couple of weeks that I feel that that Wisconsin's very one-dimensional on offense, and I don't think that Jack Cohn can sit there and win them a game if you can take away the run game. And I think Ohio State's going to do a really good job of bottling up Jonathan Taylor. And it's going to be on Jack Cohn to be able to try and do that in potentially rainy conditions. And I don't think they got it.
Kevin, be honest. You pumped your fist when Jack Cohn threw that interception against Illinois, correct?
I was standing at baggage claim in Port Columbus trying to watch the game on my phone. So I was trying like crazy to get to my car so I could put it on satellite radio and hear the end of it. And for whatever reason, I never made it. But I kind of laughed. But I was talking to a couple of other Ohio State fans who were on my flight back from Chicago, and they admitted they had mixed feelings because they were happy about seeing Wisconsin losing, but they also didn't want to see this top 6 matchup fall apart the way that it did.